Hello and welcome everybody to the Twins Off Daily podcast brought to you by twinsdaily.com. How the heck are you, Twins territory? I am Sweet Lou Hennessy and I am gathered here with another one of the Minnesota baseball media's finest, Mr. Theo Tollefson. What is going on, Theo?
Yeah, that's great. It's, just us zone coverage, credentialed guys hanging out for once. Gregg is doing other work right now, as far as we understand, and Cody should be joining us, question mark?
Yes. Our friend Cody No-Schoenmann, who we have not heard of since 19 honestly. He hasn't
Yeah.
been on since before the trade deadline. We are desperate to hear his thoughts on how everything shook out.
Mm-hmm.
So he might be joining us later. He might not be. Who knows? He's a busy dude, as we all are. But we want to thank you all for joining us on the Twins Off Daily podcast. Or as Theo said, maybe, I don't know, are we taking this over? Is this the zone coverage Off Daily podcast at this point? If it's you and me here.
I think if it's just the two of us, it could be a collab project.
There we go.
I mean, these sites are really attached at the hip, so it's not really that much of a crossover.
Right. Get Tom Shire in here, and it's a party. So,
Yes.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you all for joining us. We've had so much fun doing this on the Twins Off Daily podcast, and we hope you've had some fun too. But how about we do this? Let's talk about our walk-off question that we are going to try to answer at the end of today's episode. It was Players Weekend, which takes many different forms. It seems like over the last handful of years, they can't seem to really come up with a consistent idea for what that all entails in Major League Baseball. But this year it was a lot of, customized cleats, customized accessories. But the one that got a lot of attention was all the different bats that players use, the different designs on the bats. You saw some that looked like pencils. I think Cody Clemens had one with his dog's face on it. I think there's a few
corn on the cob.
Corn on the cob. That's pretty fun, honestly. I think that's pretty fun. So our question is, what would your Players Weekend bat design look like? What would you choose for yours if you could customize it to suit your fancy? So think about your answer there. Well, I can only imagine what Gregg would say to this one. He'd be like, why are you as an adult using any colors on the bat at all? They should all be natural and they should all be, I don't know.
He's from a time, he grew up in a time where everything was still black and white with art, if it was being shown, in film or even in the Depression era when he was still, getting into his youth and young adult life.
Yep.
I mean, it's not surprising that he likes things colorless.
Hey, that would be pretty funny if he went up there with like a black and white or like a grayish tinted bat that looks like black and white. That'd be fun. Okay. Yeah, so we know how Gregg would answer it, even if we cannot do a good Gregg impression ourselves. But let us know what you're thinking. We'll let you know what we're thinking at the end of today's episode. Let us know what we missed, I guess. But for right now, guys, let's boogie on down to our rapid recap. Okay, so it's been a few weeks. It's been a couple of weeks since our last episode. In that time, the Minnesota Twins, they won a series, actually. They went 2-1 against the Kansas City Royals. They then went 1-2 against the dreaded New York Yankees. And then they went 1-3 against the Detroit Tigers, just narrowly avoiding the dreaded mop. Not a sweep, but a 4-game mopping. That is coined by our friends over there at Cespedes Barbecue. I always liked that. I wonder what a 5-game sweep would be, because we saw that, a couple years ago when they played the Tigers. I think they had a doubleheader that was added to a 3-game series or something.
Yeah, that's going to be the case because it's a 4-game series to end the season at Target Field before they finish the season on the road in Texas and Philly. Cleveland's in town for what was originally scheduled for 4, and they had one of their games rained out, so it's going to be a 5-game. Let's hope it's not a sweep, but I'm saying we could know the answer soon.
Yeah, fair enough. Maybe they could. We really need to think of something. I don't know. Swiffer? No, that's not better than a mop. No. We'll think about it. We'll save it for another walk-off question. That'll be our last one going into that Cleveland series.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. Okay, so let's talk about how the Twins have looked in that time. Honestly, and at the end of the Kansas City Royals series, vibes were pretty good. They had one consecutive series after the big sell-off there. I don't think there was much faith that it would be a prolonged stretch of success or anything, but this fan base, Twins territory, has been looking for any wins they could get, especially after July 31st. So the Kansas City Royals series was encouraging. New York, a little bit less so, but you can hardly ever find any positives when they head to the Bronx. And then the Detroit series was not super fun until the very end there.
Mhm.
Theo, I know you covered a couple games in this last series against the Tigers. Did you learn anything new? What caught your eye?
I mean, there's not too much that we're learning that new. It's more of the same old from the
Yeah.
last week. I mean, going to that Yankee series, I think no matter what happened to the trade deadline, those were kind of the expectations. Just try to get one out of that dreaded ballpark that has never been favorable to the Twins in the
Mm-mm.
last 23 years or so. So, Joe Ryan going out and shoving in New York was
That was fun.
great in, salvaging a win there. You'll take it. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just how it is. This Detroit series, though, yeah, they were really absent at the plate Friday. That was just one of the most checked out games I think a lot of people have been at. I mean,
Yeah.
Jose Arena, wow, he really held it together after. I think it was Pearson. Yeah, Pearson was pitching that game.
Yeah.
Left the game, so he really held it down. That was great. And then, yeah, Saturday's loss was, I think, more frustrating just because they had so many chances to win it. But when you walk 9 batters,
Imagine that.
yeah. So it was nice they, got a little beat back on Chris Paddock for the second time in a row yesterday. I mean, I think we still see the flashes of what Brooks Lee can be potentially. And, Royce Lewis finally getting his first home run at Target Field this season, but having that happen on, what is it, August 17th is not encouraging.
Right. Right. Yeah. How about this? Let's start with Brooks Lee, because I think
Mhm.
honestly, he's got to be considered one of the most kind of pivotal characters on this team right now. I mean, he
Yep.
with Carlos Correa leaving and the trade deadline, he was thrust into this full-time position basically. I think he's had a couple games off maybe, but like overall he's like the starting shortstop and he's playing almost every single day. Honestly, if you would have told me on July 31st that was going to happen, I probably would have
Mhm.
said that's the last thing he needs right now. I think I'm not saying there's stuff that he needs to prove at AAA, but I don't know what it is, but it seems like at least one at bat every game, he just goes up with a absolutely brutal approach, which is something that we didn't know about Brooks Lee. Like that was not part of his game as he was a prospect coming up.
No.
He was supposed to have good strike zone recognition, and he was supposed to have good, really really good bat to ball skills, which we see the backside of that is that he has so much bat to ball skills that he's not necessarily getting the best contact when he's making when he's actually hitting the ball. So he's like you said, he's shown some flashes of what he can do. I think he's looked pretty solid at shortstop defensively, especially, which is
Oh,
important. Don't get
sure.
me
Yeah.
wrong, but you were just really hoping for such an important guy who we heard had a pretty polished bat throughout his prospect days. You're hoping for more than a 650 OPS. You're hoping for more than 1 for 4, 1 for 5 every game. You're hoping for a little bit more. He's still young. He's still developing. Of course, he's still cooking. At
Mhm.
this point in the season where the Twins are at, it doesn't hurt to just let him try to figure it out at the big league level. At the same time, it can be frustrating to watch. What do you think?
I think he has definitely shown those flashes, but at the same time, when you look at Saturday night's game when he had the bases loaded and just
Yeah,
had that one horrendous bat in a game, and it
yeah,
really cost them. And that one could have been the turnaround point where they could have won that game. I
right.
mean, Justin Topa still had another really bad throw to first that really didn't matter there at the end, but
Yeah,
then you add that in, and things are a little more concerning. So I don't know. I think there's exposure. I think when the season comes to end, I mean, I think he's on pace still to maybe get 16, maybe 17 home runs, which is more than I was expecting him from this year. And if
yeah,
he gets over 70 RBI, I mean, that's going to exceed my expectation in the power numbers. And especially, yeah, 70 RBI was definitely not a number I thought he would even get close to. And I mean,
yeah.
he's still at 51. He can get there, but yeah, the underlying OPS, the batting average, all that. I mean, he's not going to be a 300 hitter, but if he can get to 270, 280
Sure,
for a few
sure.
seasons, I mean, that's there. So I think there's a lot. I mean, last season he went into the offseason kind of like fixing his approach on at the right side of the plate because he felt really comfortable on the left side. But now it's just a matter of, okay, you've shown these flashes what you can do. So make that more consistent. Don't be a hitter who chases the strikes down in the zone very
Yeah.
poorly because that's where his weakness is. If it's not elevated, then he's not going to be getting good contact off it.
Right.
But I will say on his defense, shortstop's the best he's looked at any position all year. So there
Yep.
is that. I think it was Friday night's game he had to play in the 5th or 6th inning that was like deeply hit into just like on the warning track side of the grass and dirt on the infield, and he got it.
Yeah.
Like got that throw out first, and we did not expect that. So I think even though it was like that, if that's going to build up his confidence, hopefully at the plate, and we'll see more.
Yeah. No, I think that's really fair. Like you said, he's been exposed, at least on the offensive side, with those low pitches that he's shown that he will chase those changeups kind of down below the zone. And he's shown that even if he does make contact, like you said, it's not the kind that you want him making. So I don't know. Does his, like I said, it's still early. He's still what, 24 years old, 25,
Yeah.
24, I think.
Yeah.
He still absolutely time. I mean, he debuted last year and he had just a brief cup of coffee. This is essentially his rookie season in my mind, at least. But yeah, it's I don't know. Does it give you pause for any of the other top prospects who are absolutely killing it at, like, the AA level that we're all really excited for? But we felt that same way about Brooks Lee. Does it give you any pause for them? And maybe it's not fair because different prospects, different people, different games completely, but it's that same optimism. You know what I mean? And does it bring you any pause?
No, I think, Kale and Culpepper being the next example just because they are so similar in the positions they play, and they're both going to be on the same infield this time next year. His weaknesses are going to get exposed even when he gets to AAA, and he could end up like Luke Keesh, will not perform well there, and then get to the majors, and he's just on a tear. So it could go one way or the other, but I mean, we're not at a point. I think the only one I'm really just completely out on those top prospects is Emmanuel Rodriguez, because he cannot stay healthy on soft tissue injuries. I just have zero faith in him even being better than Orlando Arcia at this point.
Wow.
But yeah, not Orlando, Oswaldo.
Oswaldo.
So, yeah, that's where I see it.
Okay.
But Kalen Culpepper, I'm still high on. Walker Jenkins, I think again, he's still only 20 years old, playing. He's like below like 2.5 years younger than the average age at the level he's playing at. So, and then Merrick Houston just got called up to Cedar Rapids today. He only had a quick 12 games, was hitting 370. The power wasn't there, but the Florida State League is not a place where you're expecting to hit home runs right away. And now he's going to be in Cedar Rapids and play with them in their postseason run, which they will be having here in the next couple of weeks since they won the division for themselves in the first half of the season. So, I mean, he's going to get some good exposure there, start the season there next year, and he's on a similar track to what Kalen Culpepper has been since he got drafted. So that's a good sign.
Yeah. Speaking of Culpepper, the host of your podcast Destination, the show, Jamie Cameron, one of them, I think he made the point that this is kind of the same track for Merrick Houston that Kalen Culpepper followed last year, and that he had a really hot debut at low A, got promoted to high A, maybe struggled a little bit, but it's at that point the longest season he had ever played in. We might see that from Merrick Houston too. It's not like he's just going to be some meteor shooting up or anything like that. I think this is kind of always the plan, and it's something that this front office has done pretty frequently, especially with college hitters, right? Of giving them just a quick hit at low A and then promoting them, I guess you could say, kind of aggressively. But as long as they start proving some stuff, and I think next year will probably be much more telling for Houston than the rest of this season.
Yeah, and especially if he's at a point like similar to Culpepper where he gets promoted up to AA, and then we see the signs of the struggle, because that's where the biggest jump is in the minor leagues. But that hasn't happened to Culpepper. That doesn't mean it won't happen to Houston.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, well, like you said, Brooks Lee, it seems like he's the most comfortable at shortstop, but I've also been relatively impressed when he did get some time at second base. Do you think that could be in the future for him? Do you think that shortstop is going to be where he's going to mostly settle in? It kind of depends on what Royce Lewis looks like at third base and whether they, if he's still firmly in the picture once these top prospects start coming up. The nice thing is Brooks Lee provides that flexibility. He's looked pretty good at second, really good at short, and hit and miss at third, I guess you could say.
I would say he stays on the left side of the infield either way. Luke Keesh, at least for the time being, just because of the arm injuries he's had to recover from in the last year. He's staying at second base. I mean, at least through the end of the season, there's no way he's playing anywhere else. Next season, when we get into spring training, might be a different question. But even then, I think Keishel is just a safe bet to stay at second base. So it really depends on, like, obviously Kalen Culpepper is going to get an invite to spring big league camp and spring training this next year
Yeah.
with how this season's gone for him. So I think it really just depends which of those two might look better at third base. And, the idea hasn't been touted out there yet, but I think, if you're keeping Royce Lewis around with your first base situation being what it is, not that he still doesn't have the range to play third base, but I
Yeah.
think you would preferably want Culpepper or Lee there right now with how things are shaping up. So maybe you move him to first base.
Yeah, that could be interesting. I've been mostly pleasantly surprised with how adequate Royce has been at third base defensively this year. He's been mostly pretty solid, I would say,
Yeah.
especially considering how much of a struggle it seemed like last year with some of his throwing issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Maybe first base is part of it. I mean, he's just such a different type of player than he was when he was a prospect, and he was like, so speedy, so rangy and everything. He doesn't have that same mobility anymore. And he might
No, definitely
going
not.
forward. So maybe first base is in the cards. We also have on our Twins off daily bingo card, Luke Keishel, first baseman. I know it doesn't, that probably wouldn't be preferable. I think some things would probably have to go wrong, or I mean, not to plan, I guess.
Yeah.
But it could, I'm worried. I know it's because he had surgery and everything. He's just got such a noodle arm right now. I can't picture him anywhere except second base, especially not in the outfield. I don't see that.
No.
I don't see it happening. He's got the legs. I don't think he has the arm, and I'm not sure if the arm's going to come back. Who am I to say? But at this point, he seems like somebody who sticks on the right side of the infield. Might be kind of a fun little split of him and Cody Clemens at first base next year. I'm not saying for like long-term plans or anything, but for next year, if he mixes in as the right-handed portion of the platoon at first, still gets time at second, still gets time at DH, could be something. I don't know. Okay, well, we've talked about the infield an awful lot here. With our rapid recap, another bright spot has been Byron Buxton returning to action. Very happy to see that. I loved the little the clip they put out of him and Torrey Hunter during
that was great.
Players
Yeah.
Week. That was great. I love that kind of stuff. I was working for the Twins in 2015 when Torrey came back for his swan song season there. And they didn't make the playoffs that year, but they went into the last weekend with a shot.
No, they were still competitive.
Yeah, they're competitive mid-September, and that season started off very poorly too. They were not good in the first month, and they kind of turned it on. That was a fun summer. It was great having Torrey back. I loved seeing the clips of Buck. That was his debut year. That was when he debuted, I believe, in June.
I think.
Oh my God, he was a twig. He was.
I know.
He was just rail thin, had no biceps, and he's just. I love that he has, added size, but has still maintained that elite speed. That's been fun. So, and it's been really fun to have Buck back out there over the last few games.
So he's 8 games away from 100, which I know some people are still going to have their gripes about it. Everyone's going to have their gripes on Twins Twitter through the end of the season, no matter what happens. But we got to appreciate that he's finally going to get back-to-back seasons with 100-plus games. And I think he's, as long, I mean, we always have to say it, but as long as he stays healthy, and I think it's very likely this year he could potentially get up to 120, 130, that range this year. So
that'd be excellent.
We got to appreciate it.
Yeah, that'd mean a lot for Twins territory.
That'd mean a lot for him.
Things are at right now, and it'd be so much to him. So first and foremost, it'd mean so much to him. And like I said, just that he's feeling better and having success still, really embracing that leadership role, especially now that a few veterans have left the clubhouse. Not that he was ever sitting in the background or anything like that, but it's a different dimension now. Things change, and the clubhouse has changed too. So good on Buck. Good to see him back. Let's see, Theo, I sent you a couple questions before the episode here. I'm just going to pull them up right now. One that I have right now is, what do you think the best case scenario is for the rest of this year? I'm not talking about the Twins winning out the season, making a push for the playoffs. I'm talking about just like storylines. What do you think is like a best case scenario for this club going forward, realistically?
Well, we just talked about Buxton, finishing the season healthy, getting more games than he had last season. I think same thing with Keishel. He finishes the season healthy. I mean, that's a narrative you can pull with any player out of the hat.
No.
Pablo will be back, and you just want to make sure he's pitching strong and like ready for spring training more
Yeah.
so, and not shutting him down and not overworking him. I mean, going into the offseason, you have to prepare yourself for both Pablo and Ryan more than likely getting traded away. Unfortunately, with how things currently stand, until we get more information on who these new minority partners are in the ownership group. But, you know, hopefully things can change there and maybe they stick around a little longer, but it's very hard to tell right now.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I think even if Outman is hitting, I mean, you don't want a guy hitting 200, but if he's doing that, just being up here, because with Rodin getting shut down for the rest of the season,
Yeah.
you definitely want Outman to be an improvement from who he was with the Dodgers the last 2 years. And even if he's just hitting above the Mendoza line, OPS is at 600, which ain't great, but for his role and what he went through with LA the last couple of seasons, you just got to take what you can get from him. Larnach, if he can just get a few more home runs, up his trade value a little bit, because I don't think he's going to be here in 2026. So you just got to hope he performs well enough, put up some value there. And maybe I'll save this later for my gripe, but with Wallner, the power's there. It's still inconsistent.
Yeah.
He's probably going to get to 100 games, but, he's just not been healthy, not been consistent. But he's the Minnesota guy they're going to build this team around right now and part of their core. And, there are the flashes there. And even though he's not here, Comrade Cody, MIA, we were texting, I think, last week, and I was finally sold on, why we should keep Wallner over Larnach, looking at, their career numbers, where they're sitting. I mean, they are the same age, but, obviously the Minnesota connection is one thing, but looking at their overall numbers and the minimal playing time both of them really have had since they've gotten called up, in the grand scheme of things, I mean, Larnach just had his first 100-plus game season last year, and then he's going to set a career high this year in games played, and Wallner still hasn't gotten to 100 games played in a season, which is not a great sign when you have to field an outfield with Byron Buxton too.
Sure.
So, I mean, anything positive there? Obviously, I can safely say we're not seeing Culpepper, we're not seeing Jenkins get called up to the Twins.
Right.
Doesn't mean they won't be in Minnesota before the year's over.
Is that a scoop, Theo? Is that a scoop for something else?
Well, Wichita Wind Surge are going in, are in contention to potentially make the AA playoffs.
Okay.
So that might also play effect on when or if they get called up to get an extra week of playing time with the St. Paul Saints. We don't know yet, but I mean, they did it last year with Marco Raya and Corey Lewis, and they both got one extra start. But we'll see what they do with these hitters.
Saints are pretty firmly out of their playoff picture, right?
Oh, yeah. Since they became affiliate, their seasons have kind of been mirrors of what the Twins have been, because the only season they were in contention was 2023.
And AAA, don't they do
it's only 4 teams.
First half champ and second half
in
champ?
The whole. Well, and it's harder in the International League because it's just one first half champ of 20 teams, and then just 2 out of 20 teams, and then the Pacific Coast League is,
cool.
Same thing, but it's only 10 teams.
Great. Okay, so we'll keep an eye on that for sure. I guess where I'm at with that question of what's the best case scenario, I think the best case scenario is that we find 2 or 3 of these kind of young post-hype prospects that can be penciled in as answers. We can go into next season. Let's say Wallner has a really good next 6 weeks or so.
Yeah.
We could say, okay, he's going to be the starting right fielder or the DH, or, he's in the plan. He's there. Same with someone like Zebby Matthews in the rotation of hey, okay, Zebby had a really good 5 weeks here. We're comfortable penciling him as one of the 5 guys coming out of spring training next year. He's going to be in a big league rotation. He's proven that he's ready for that test, that to really dig his feet into that role. You're hoping maybe a couple of guys in the bullpen. I'm not optimistic that they can make that much of an impression that they'll be penciled in besides Cole Sands, but who knows? Maybe Travis Adams, maybe Pearson Ole show that they can be really effective in a 1 or 2 inning role rather than a, 1.5 times through the lineup kind of vibe. Maybe they show that their stuff plays up a little bit. I don't know if we're going to get that answer this year, so to speak, as much as the answers that we would get from guys like Brooks Lee, Matt Wallner, stuff like that. I think that's kind of the best case scenario. Finding a few answers. Not that you have to write in pen, but that you can at least write in pencil going into the off season. I think that's the best case scenario for me. And just how about just some like competitive games, competitive baseball, where I think it was on Gleeman and the Geek today. We quote them an awful lot, but on their podcast today, I think Gleeman said something along the lines of the Twins. It seems like they're throwing stuff at the wall, not to see what sticks, but to cover the wall. We're trying to see what sticks at this point, not just cover these innings. That's why guys like Jose Urena, guys like Hatch, guys that probably not going to be in the long-term picture, but they're getting so many of these opportunities. It's like, I just wish that we could get it from guys that we're trying to
be here
next year. Yeah.
Well, they just called Connor Pruitt up to St. Paul. They are definitely. I think he's starting tomorrow night. Well, this comes out Tuesday, so tonight. He's going to just still be run out as a starter as he has been all season. But I think it's very safe to say that once we get into the offseason, we get back to spring training, he's this close. We know his arm injury history.
Yeah.
Next year, 100% going to be just transition to a reliever, and hopefully, I mean, we're talking about worst case scenario, one big injury ends his career. Best case scenario, the second coming of Billy Wagner. So even if you can get into that middle ground of 3, 4, 5 good seasons as a closer, a proven one, because that's what it's looking like there. I think that's something you really got to look forward to, and that's one guy I'm sure a lot of people would love to see up now, but let's not rush him. Let's let him finish the season with his only injury being a blister on his groin arm.
That would be great. That'd be so excellent for him and having a healthy offseason. Yeah, let him build his body of work in the minor leagues this year so that next year, we get the vibe that he only has so many bullets in his arm. We're going to want to see those bullets at the big league level if he's healthy and effective. So let him build that up this year at the minor league level for the rest of this season, and then see what happens come May, June next year. Even early on, we've seen crazier things happen, right? Especially with relief pitchers. But I think that's a reasonable request, I would say.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else we want to talk about before we boogie on down to the next segment here?
I don't think so. I think we get a lot of ground covered.
Yeah, I think so too. All right. We are going to boogie down, even though we don't have Gregory T. Masterson with us here today. He's with us in spirit. We are still going to do everybody's
whatever your spiritual beliefs are there. Yeah, sure. You can go that way.
We are going to do Gregg's Gripes. Of that music as the John Bonus entrance music too, because that's what we were scrambling when he jumped on the trade deadline live stream.
Yeah,
like, we need some sort of music.
Yeah,
we need some sort of music, and so he just had. I was like, I'm just going to go with Gregg's Gripes, and it kind of fit because people were really hot at that.
It was pretty hot there. Yeah, it was a hot stream.
That was fun. Sure. I think Twins Daily ought to do some more of those live streams. I think that would be a good time.
Whatever our big off-season thing is going, I think something maybe going into the week of the meltdown. That might be, a little warm up.
Yeah,
that a little warm up to get people anticipated. Yeah,
we're little warm up. Little warm up before people melt down. We will. We should run that up the ladder and
we will.
Listeners, hey, if you would like that, let us know. Let us know what you're looking for in those live streams. How often you'd like to do them. We'd love to hear your thoughts, and we'd love to live up to the expectations that you have here. But let's get back onto the gripes. It is not Gregg's gripes today. It is Mr. Theo's gripes. Theo, what is your gripe this episode?
Well,
and it better not be my impression of the now canceled celebrity. Go ahead.
No, it's that Matt Wallner's got a terrible home run to RBI ratio, and it drives me insane when a guy has 16 home runs and only 27 RBI. In my head, every home run hitter should have at least double the amount of home runs they have as their RBI total. So seeing 16-27 drives me insane. It just I cannot fathom how that is possible, and it's obviously you're getting a lot of solo home runs and you're not hitting well when you got runners in scoring position or just even runners on base. And it just rattles me, man. It really rattles me. And we really did not see this like big problem in the league until 10 years ago when, Joey Gallo was coming up, and you look at his home run to RBI ratios, it's really bad. And I know some stat heads like Gleeman don't think RBIs are as valuable as they used to be, but they still are. Like, I don't want to hear any analytical RBI don't really matter. It's like, yes, they do. That is one of the key stats that you need to really signify if you're a really good hitter.
Yeah.
So I don't want to hear any disvaluing of it, and that's why I cannot stand, he's no longer a Twin, but I could not stand the numbers Joey Gallo put up. Kyle Schwarber's gotten better since he's been in Philly with those types of numbers, but those types of hitters who are just, the outliers for 3 true crime outcomes, and they don't have a pretty RBI total.
No.
That really drives me insane. I think, because what was it? I think Schwarber had 1 year with the Cubs, 31 home runs and 59 RBI, and I'm like, what are we doing here? Obviously the game's different and changed, and it's just how everyone's trying to approach opportunities. But like, I mean, come on. I mean, we grew up with Justin Morneau getting 100 plus RBI, and only, like, what was it, 08, he led the league with 120 or maybe 130 something, only had 23 home run. And I'm like, that's great. Let's more of this. Let's see more of this.
Old head Theo loves his RBIs, loves his pitcher wins, loves his saves.
I hate WPA as a seasonal lawn stat, but for individual games, WPA works great as an analytic. But for the whole season, get out of here. I mean, WAR is better for the whole season compared to WPA. So sorry, Gleeman and Bonus, but you guys got to really let go of your WPA obsession.
They're not listening.
They're not going to listen. I will tell them in person, and they still won't listen.
I mentioned
what was it, like pregame on oh yeah, that's right. I do have another gripe. This is kind of, but like, we'll lead into it. So pregame on Saturday, as we were there, to kind of set the scene for people, there are 2 kind of like, you know what I'm talking about. They're like coffee tables or lawn tables that you might see in like a conference room, and they got a couple of those in the Twins clubhouse. And we were not inside the clubhouse because Zebby Matthews, the starter on Saturday, was sitting at one of them that was closer to the doors that we come in, and we're like, okay, we're going to give him his space.
Yeah, don't talk to the starting pitcher. Never.
No, you never do that. You never do that. Some of them are even sensitive about the day before, but most of them not really.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Gleeman and I was like, man, you're too low on Austin Martin's defense at second base. And he's like, ooh, I'm staying by that one. And I'm like, dude, I've seen him play second base more than you this year. He's still passable there. But we had a lot of time to talk because Rocco's pregame session was delayed from its scheduled time by a full hour. And after the half-hour mark, we really were starting to wonder what was going on. The door was closed. Chris Atterbury, for the radio broadcast, always does his own one-on-one pregame interview first, just so they can have that ready with the time frame they're working in, which is a lot more condensed than what we do from the writing side.
Yeah.
And then it got to be an hour, and we're like, what's going on here? We're like, why is it taking so long? I think it was like an hour and 10 minutes from the original scheduled time. And I'm pacing back and forth. I'm out in the hallway, and I see the door open, and out walks big shot John Smoltz.
Ooh, the Hall of Famer.
Come on, man. I get you're here for your Fox broadcast, but I think they were just catching up as old teammates briefly on the 2009 Red Sox, and that got him there. But we were all just – I go back in and told the other reporters, I was like, it was Smoltz, and we're all like, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I got to say, though, there is something about – because, we get delayed every once in a while for various reasons. Usually it's on an hour and 10 minutes, whatever. But
no, that's definitely the longest this year.
There is something about seeing members of the media just start to get antsy and like start pacing around and stuff. It's amusing. It's amusing. I feel sorry for you because they all have stuff to do. Usually my stuff is not urgent by any means. And that's why I kind of hang out in the back, but like there is something funny about just seeing them like checking their watches and pacing back and forth and stuff. I feel for you though. That is gripe worthy that you had to wait an hour and 10 minutes for sure.
So this is going to be known as the John Smoltz gripe. This
one
might
of many.
Be the only
one
one.
Of many.
This might be the only one on this show specifically that one
we'll
of us has been impacted by. But I don't know what the next time they'll be on Fox Sports and if he'll be in town for that. But that is something we're going to be keeping in mind. John Smoltz.
I don't know how many scheduled Fox games they're going to be getting next year. We'll see.
I mean, they still get it. I mean, they still get a decent amount. It's ESPN where it's really, but even that's up in the air.
Yeah, who knows at this point? Well, who knows? All right, man. Well, good gripes. Well done. I think what we should probably do now, I think I'm going to close the door on our old pal, Cody No-Schoenmann. I don't know if he's going to be showing up here. Um,
He's really missing out on so many opportunities. I
Cody
hope he's.
Cody
I really hope.
No-Schoenmann, right?
Yeah, I
Come on
know.
now.
I really hope he's just spending this time working on a better podcast setup and not just the phone on the bed, as we griped about him that one time.
he took that in stride. He's a real trooper. Cody, we miss you.
Yeah.
We can't wait for you to be back on. We've missed you, and we can't wait to hear your thoughts on the trade deadline in the club right now. But for right now, Theo, you and I, we're going to go on to our next segment, which is the closer. Okay, as we usually like to do on this show, when it's just two of us, we're going to do a game of 20 questions where Theo has 20 opportunities. He has 20 questions to try to come up with the former twin that I am thinking of. Um, let's see. Theo, would you like a hitter or a pitcher for this round?
We'll start with the pitcher.
Pitcher. Okay, sounds good. If you can get this one in short order, we will move on to the hitter. How about that? But if I stump you, this will be it. We're going to start with the pitcher. Let me get my pen ready here, and you can start with your first question.
Yeah. So was this a Metrodome only, target field only, or both?
Ooh, let's see. For the Twins, he pitched in both the Metrodome and at Target Field.
Exclusively Ron Gardenhire as manager?
With the Twins, yes.
Got it.
I kind of answered an extra question for you there.
Yeah, we're still on counting those too. All right. Starter or reliever?
These are supposed to be yes or no questions, but I'll tell you, he's a reliever.
Okay.
That's all you got? Did I stump you already?
Did he lead the team in appearances in any of his seasons with the Twins?
Let's see. Appearances. He's got a few that were pretty high up there. I wouldn't doubt if he was the leader for a couple of these seasons.
Was it Matt Guerrero?
It is not Matt Guerrero, but that is a good guess. That was your fifth question.
Jesse Crane.
It is Jesse Crane. What a snipe, dude! You didn't even ask what hand he pitched with, or what arm. What
after I listened to the one episode where you had Brian Fuentes on both Gregg and Cody, I'm like,
okay, Jesse Crane's easier though. Come on,
he is.
Brian Fuentes pitched like 12 games with the Twins.
9
games with the Twins,
but he was scoreless in all of them.
He was good. He was good.
Yeah.
Jesse Crane, though, what an interesting career. He pitched like 7 years with the Twins, 2004 through 2010. And then he went to the rival Chicago White Sox on a pretty big deal.
And he was so good with them in 2013, which was his final season. He made the All-Star team, and I was so upset about that because it had to be with the White Sox and not us.
Yeah. he had 2.2 WAR in the first half before he was named an All-Star. He had a 0.74 ERA. Did not get to pitch in the game. A really good career for Mr. Jesse Crane. With the Twins, he pitched 382 innings and had a 3.42 ERA as a setup guy. That's pretty good, pretty reliable. And really, that ERA was ballooned by just 2 seasons. He had a 5.51 ERA in 2007 and a 4.70 ERA in 2009. So really ballooned by that. And then with Chicago in limited action, 150 innings, he had a 2.10 ERA as one of the premier arms out of the bullpen. So pretty fun little career for Mr. Jesse Crane. All right, that was pretty quick. Let's boogie on over to the hitter side of things, and we'll go there.
Well, same first question. Metrodome or Target Field?
Target Field.
Exclusively Target Field?
I don't think he played before. He might have been a visitor, but with the Twins, purely at Target Field.
Ron Gardenhire is manager?
Yes.
Paul Molitor is manager?
No.
Okay. Might have visited. Ben Revere?
Not Ben Revere.
Okay.
No.
Was
That was
he
go ahead.
infield?
He did not play infield, no.
So he's an outfielder. Okay. Or are we counting catcher as infield?
You know what, Theo? I'm counting that as a question. No, we're not counting catcher as infield.
Okay. No, that's fine. That's fine.
You're at 7. 7 questions.
Drew Butera?
Not Drew Butera.
Outfielder only card.
I will say this one is a little more challenging.
Okay. Okay.
Might be a hint.
Might be a hint indeed. Was he American born?
I believe so. Let me just confirm. Yes. Born in the U.S. Yeah, 9 questions.
Yeah. This is the long silence of the podcast, folks, where I am
Oh, they
pondering
love it. That's some good radio, baby.
which outfielder from the 2010 to 2014 seasons American born it could be. There's some options there
There
that
are.
I haven't. I've already checked one off. Who it is not. Let's see.
I'll give you a hint.
Yeah.
I'll give you a hint. His it'll cost you a question, but I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
His only other team that he played for was the Detroit Tigers.
Oh, it's Clee Thomas, isn't it?
It's Cleat Thomas. You got him.
Yep.
You know what? Okay. Cleat Thomas played 12 games with the Twins in 2012. Terrible last season. He batted 143 with a sub 500 OPS. In 2013, still not great. 214.
He was serviceable.
He had like a 600 OPS, but you know what? As like a fourth outfielder, and let's be, dude, 2012 and 2013, working at the ballpark, I loved it. I love going to the ballpark, no matter what the whatever the team is looking like. But those are some dark days in terms of talent, my friend. And Cleat Thomas was very representative of that. Great name, Cleat Thomas.
Yep.
Love it. Great jersey number 11. That's my chosen jersey number too. Surprised he got such a primo number, but Mr. Cleat Thomas. Okay, man. Well, good job. You nailed both of those. It only took you 6 questions for Jesse Crane. It took you 11 questions for Cleat Thomas. That's a new high score, I got to think. So
I will take it.
Well done. Next time you might need to come up with the player, and I will ask you.
Cody needs to be there too, because I want to see if he can even.
At this point, I'm about to call 18. Out a wellness check on Mr. Cody.
We might have to. We might have to. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, how
next
about
time
this?
I come on, I should definitely try to bring a couple for all 3 of you. Honestly,
love it. That would be awesome. Okay, before we take off here, because it's running late, how about let's talk about our walk-off question, which is, what would your players' weekend bat design be? Theo, I know your fandom for a few different things. What would your bat look like?
It would definitely look like a green lightsaber.
Green lightsaber. So you're a Jedi master in this world. Okay.
Well, I mean, we want to get into the nitty-gritty of it, so there's 3 different types of Jedi and their specific lightsaber colors that are tuned to them. So the Jedi Guardian is the one who's more about the physicality of what you do. They have more of the attuned blue color. The Jedi Counselor, who's more in tune with the Force, has here we
over by the nerd police. I'm worried that our audience is going to fall asleep.
No, they're going to have to deal with it. I'm going to finish this because I was halfway through the second one. So the Jedi Counselor class is more attuned with the green lightsaber color, and then Jedi Sentinel pretty much is yellow. So the more you know.
Well, hey, you know what? A green lightsaber bat would look pretty cool. I'm surprised nobody has done that yet, honestly. I think that's pretty easy to design.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It would be.
I think.
And what about you?
I think my bet would just be a big, long hot dog. So I could be like, and it would say, check out the Glizzy game. And I would hit a mighty wallop with it. And I would keep it forever. So I'm going with the hot dog bet. I thought about other ones too. Let's see. I'm a big Simpsons fan. Maybe it would be like Marge Simpson's head and like the whole barrel of the baddest or blue hair or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be good.
I don't know. I hope we do keep seeing some fun, creative stuff for Players Weekend. I know that it's not super important, but it's like 3 days. Who cares? Let people have some fun.
Well, I think they really had fun with it with the jerseys they did in like 2017, 2018, with the fun nicknames on the back of the jerseys. And they were good, like alternate jersey designs for the teams too.
Yeah.
I think that was probably the best inception of it. I mean, not to say that they're not having fun with it right now,
but
that would definitely be the better approach, I think, with the alternate jerseys. Even if you just go back to what every team had back in those 2 seasons, that would just be a lot better.
I loved when they did that, and then they're like, "Hey, that worked really well. Next year, we're going to be all black or all white. Nothing. That was terrible." And then they're like, "Well, Players Weekend doesn't work now. It doesn't work anymore." So they stopped doing it. It's like, no, it was cool. It was cool when you did the nicknames and the sleeves. It was kind of consistent. You know what I mean? So
yeah. They really just find ways to take fun things and mess them up pretty easily. But
I'm curious how it's got to be something with like supply chain issues or, just where the jerseys are coming from that makes it so tricky to order them and get them in. But like, it's such an easy thing for teams to have different jerseys. Like that's why City Connect, I like it. Even if you don't like them, it's an avenue for them to get more merch money for fans to go out and get something different that maybe they didn't have before. They just got to keep doing stuff like that. It doesn't need to be all the time, but at least give them a Players Weekend and have some fun with it, right?
Well, they weren't exclusive with Fanatics 7-8 years ago, so I think that's very telling because they have been known for their uniform issues before.
That's true. I haven't seen too many of the see-through pants. We're getting way off topic here. All right, everybody. How about this? Thank you so much for listening to the Twins Off Daily podcast. Please leave us a review. It can even be a bad review. We will read those aloud on the podcast if you leave those. Please leave us a review. We hope you had some fun. And if you're still listening at this point, I like to think that you did. Theo, thank you so much for joining us, my friend. Everybody, please tune into everything Theo's doing over at Zone Coverage and for the work that he does producing the Destination, the show podcast, which is always a lot of fun and some really good topics right now with the minor league seasons soon to be coming to a close. So thank you, everybody. And we will see you. Let's see. The next off day is in next week, I believe. But we'll come at you. We'll come at you soon with something fun. But until then, everybody, stay sweet. I am out on Cody No-Schoenmann. All right.